Welcome to Power Up Memphis. I'm your host, Gail Jones-Carson, the Vice President of Community and External Affairs for Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. The aim of Power Up Memphis is to take you, our customers, on an inside tour of MLGW to share our programs and operations to you, our customers. And by doing so, we can all better understand how we function as your utility provider. Today, my guest is James West. He's new to Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. He's our Chief Customer Officer and Vice President of Customer Care. Welcome, Jim.
Thanks for having me, Gail.
And welcome to Memphis.
Thanks. It's great to be here. We're really enjoying it.
You know, I want to start out with you telling us something about yourself and your experience in the utility industry.
Sure. So I have spent my entire career in the public utility business. I spent a long time with Tennessee Valley Authority, so I'm a Tennessee native. My wife and I both grew up in Chattanooga. We have a grown daughter. She's in Columbus, Ohio. And most of my time has been on the customer part of the business, and a lot of that has been in energy efficiency and solar energy programs. And then most recently, I spent the last 10 years at Snohomish County Public Utility District, which is a municipal utility that serves electric and water to 350,000 customers just north of Seattle, Washington. So the world of customer service feels pretty similar from one retail utility to another. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable moving into this new role here.
And so they only had 2 services under the roof there, and here we have, well, we have 3, electric, gas, and water.
Right.
So do you find that might be a little bit different?
Gas is a whole new world for me, and we have a strong team and a strong foundation here. But some of the issues that we face on the customer service side and on the regulatory side are really new and different. I'm enjoying learning about those. But customer issues, whether they're related to water service, electric service, or gas service, are often about the bill or some aspect of the relationship with the utility. So whether it's electric, gas, or water, customer issues are pretty similar across all 3 utilities often.
Oh, well, good. Okay. So tell us, in your new role here, what your vision is for our customer service at Memphis Light, Gas, and Water.
Sure. My vision for our customer service is to provide the best experience we can every time, all the time, for customers that deal with us. And that's not just employees who are in customer service, but it's every employee across the entire Memphis Light, Gas, and Water family. Every one of us is a representative for MLGW when we're out there in the community, whether we're on a line crew or driving a vehicle or working one of our community offices. But consistency and providing excellent service and making sure that every customer's experience is the best it can be is really my goal and vision for our organization.
Well, you know, I was on our Facebook page, you know, just a day or so ago, and we had a customer on there who was not very positive about Memphis Light, Gas, and Water, and talked about the history of negative service that we have. And I tried to explain to the customer that we have new leadership with you as the Vice President and with Eliza King as a Director, and that we're trying to turn that tide and provide excellent customer service to our customers. So based on that challenge of some of our customers not having a positive image of Memphis Light, Gas, and Water, or they may have had negative experiences, how do you think you can turn that around?
You know, I think part of it is consistency. And just in the short time I've been here, we've identified some gaps in the training that we provided to our customer service employees, for example. So making sure that everyone knows the answers to the common questions that customers are going to call with. It's not a good situation when a customer can call one day and get one answer and call a week later, talk to somebody different, get a different answer to the same question. And so we've identified those areas where really we just need to improve our consistency. I think, too, another aspect is recognizing that we have to meet customers where they are. So a young single mother with kids is a very different customer than a retiree who's lived in the same home for 30-plus years. So recognizing that everybody's coming from a different situation and being sensitive to that, I think, helps a lot as well.
Wow. Okay, so I know one of the things that I do in our efforts to communicate to our customers about the services and the programs that we have available at Memphis Light Gas and Water. I mean, just going to various workshops or different cities throughout the years since I've been here, I have learned that Memphis Light Gas and Water has some of the most liberal and a wider range of payment plans for our customers, that we bend over backwards to, you know, work with our customers before they get cut off, and we just ask that they call before they cut off. So how do you, I mean, what kind of programs did you all have where you just left in regards to helping customers who had challenges paying their bills?
So we had, I think, the same sort of bill payment assistance programs and services that we have at Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. So sometimes it's a customer needs an extension on a due date for a bill, or they need to break a bill up into installments. They can't pay it all right now. They want to pay part of it and pay part of it later. So those kinds of things are pretty easy to accommodate. A difference that we had at Snohomish County Public Utilities was we actually had a discounted rate for customers that were at or below the federal poverty guideline.
So that was allowed? Was it a private? Let me ask, was it a private?
No, we were a public utility.
Okay.
But the state of Washington is different from the state of Tennessee in that Washington's legislation actually provided for utilities to spend ratepayer dollars to assist. The language in the law was actually the poor and elderly.
Oh,
and that's not
described?
Yeah, so
okay.
And that's not something that legislation in the state of Tennessee allows us to do. I think one of the things that really works well is to leverage all the relationships that we have in the community. So there are so many community service agencies and nonprofits and advocacy groups focused on assisting the same customers that we're assisting, and we all have common goals. And making sure that we're coordinated and communicated with all of the assistance avenues that are out there for customers to take advantage of. It's a little bit like playing tug of war when you're a kid. You know, everybody's got to have their hands on the rope. You all got to be pulling at the same time. You've all got to be pulling in the same direction. If we can marshal all those resources, I think it really provides a powerful resource for this community to take advantage of.
Okay, so, well, that's interesting that, you know, the state of, you said Washington
State.
Their state laws are different from the state of Tennessee. The state of Tennessee does not allow us to have a sliding scale for income and giving discounts to our customers. So I would assume, since those are state laws, then the state legislature would have to make those changes if that were possible. Or are we tied to maybe like TVA contracts that don't allow us to do it? I mean, how valuable is it for a change here in Tennessee?
I think with the right approach, it really is possible to bring about some change. I'm not aware of the conditions in our contract with TVA, so I can't speak to that one. I think a key issue is to make sure that similarly situated customers are treated the same. So when you've got customers that you can identify that have a particular set of needs, if you can craft a service or a program or a product or even a rate perhaps for that group of customers, clearly they are in a different situation than the other customers. And if you can find a way to segregate those so that you can identify particular needs you're trying to address, I think the conversation gets easier. Utilities and state legislatures and regulators often get hung up when they perceive that within the same customer class, some customers are being asked to bear more of the cost than other customers. But if you can identify groups by particular needs and treat those customers within that group one way, I think it makes the conversation easier because you're recognizing that they're in a different circumstance than other customers. Well,
and some of the communications that's been out there in the media have been about, you know, some customers, their income versus, you know, what they have to pay in utility costs. But if those customers who have lower income, or just all of our customers in general, had better energy efficiency, that would lower their energy consumption, thereby lowering what they have to pay out monthly.
Exactly right.
So could you talk a little bit about some of the programs that we have to help our customers weatherize their homes?
A great question. I think one of the things I'm most impressed with and proud to be associated with is MLGW Share the Pennies program.
Oh, great.
So earlier this year, our Share the Pennies program, which is round up to the next nearest dollar amount on customers' bills. It became an opt-out program, and around 80% of our customers continue to participate in that. And the dollars that come in from that round-up are directed specifically toward improving the energy efficiency and the weatherization on homes for low-income homeowners in the community. And we partner with Memphis Interfaith Association, with MIFA, who administers the programs and the dollars on our behalf. They do the initial screening, and then once they determine that a customer meets a criteria, then we send our advisor in to assess what's needed in each particular home.
So how many homes are we shooting to weatherize through that program annually?
When we hit our stride, I think we'll probably do about 1,000 homes a year, given the amount of money that we're bringing in. And at the pace we're on right now, we might do about 300 this year. So we really just got started in earnest mid-year, and we're kind of gearing up. But I think we'll do about 300 this year and about 1,000 on an ongoing basis annually. Okay,
and I do want to mention that in addition to the funds that we're receiving from our customers to help customers in need, we're also receiving $1 million from TVA as a match.
Correct, yeah. And we think there's also some opportunities for other funding sources. So it really has been something that's created sort of an attraction of people with money to assist that segment of our population who want to come and be at our table with us. Really exciting.
And one of the things I've also been informed about is that you are working on finding ways with some of those dollars to help our customers even more in emergency situations.
That's exactly right, and we have just recently found a way to create sort of an express checkout lane for customers that are in a really dire situation.
Oh, great.
So as you might imagine, the process
That's
to work with MIFA and then work with us, it's going to take a little bit of time to actually get into the pipeline. But for customers with extenuating circumstances, we found a way to really shortcut that and give them immediate attention on the limited number of things they might need.
Good, good. So, well, we do have to wrap up now, but is there anything that you want to share with our customers before we leave?
You know, I am struck by the customer service ethic and mindset that exists throughout this company, and I'm really pleased to be part of the team and looking forward to leveraging that in improving customer experience in every aspect of our relationship with customers.
Well, I am excited about you being here because I'm expecting new and different and better, taking our customer experience to the next level. So welcome to Memphis and welcome to Memphis Like Gas.
Thanks very much. It's a privilege to be here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Helping those with less than you can make you happy too. Plus one makes me happy to help someone. Plus one, doing what can be done to help. Plus one, helping your neighbor can be fun.
Call 544-6549 or visit mlgw.com/+1.
Help someone.
Welcome to Power Up Memphis. I'm Gail Jones-Carson, your host, and my guest today is the president of Memphis Like Gas and Water, J.T. Young. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Today we're going to be talking about the proposed 2019 budget increase that has been presented to our board and also to the MLGW Utility Committee, City Council's Utility Committee. So can you just kind of like walk us through the process of our budgeting, how it works, so people can have an understanding of how we even come up with the suggestions that we make?
Well, sure. One of the things that I thought when I noticed when I came here was I wanted to make sure that as we went through the budget process, is that we were looking at ways to be efficient. So we had several rounds of what we call budget review committee meetings. And I believe that was a previous practice, but it was helpful for me because I asked a lot of questions so that I could just learn more about what was going on around the company. And in that budget review process, each area brought the things that they felt were important, and we would scrutinize those, ask difficult questions, find out what efficiencies we've gained before we look for things to add. So we went through that process, which took about a month and a half or so of sessions to 2 months. And once that was done, our financial group pulled everything together into one budget, because we went by each division, electric, gas, and water. And in each area of each division, they pulled all that together and came up with a request. One caveat, one little twist we did this time was, while we were looking at the 2019 budget, we looked at a 5-year horizon for needs from a capital investment perspective. And over that 5-year horizon, we decided that we needed to make some major investments. So we looked beyond just 2019, and we looked out for the next 5 years to decide how could we make improvements. And I asked everyone to really make sure we kept the theme of this year's budget and rate plan to the areas of customer value, modernization, quality, and reliability. And as we looked at those 4 descriptive themes, it kind of helped push the notion of what we're trying to do to bring our customers more value.
Okay, so when you start saying looking at investments, what kind of investments?
So when we talk about investments, we're talking about predominantly infrastructure-related investments. So those would be investments that we believe, based on history and based on what we know we need to do, those investments will improve, for example, reduce outage times. So when a customer's power is out, by making some additional investments for automation to help modernize our electric system, we can reduce the length of time that most of our customers are out. And in our water pumping stations, for example, we need to make some investments in the infrastructure to modernize that infrastructure so that we can make sure that our water productivity is where it needs to be for all of our customers. So when we talk about investments, we're generally talking about capital investments that we need to make on a system which has a lot of old infrastructure that needs to be replaced.
When you say old, how old?
Well, for example, I gave this example to the City Council yesterday. The average age of our water pumping station is 57 years old.
Wow.
And so what that tells me is that we have some risk out there. In particular, we have about 130 wells, and we have some wells that need to be redone. We have refurbished a couple of our pumping stations. We have about 10 of them, so we still have a ways to go, and we still have some more work that we need to do. But that's just to give you an idea. On our electric side, we have some substation equipment that's north of 50, 60 years old. And so we have found that while that equipment can last for a while, I think that MLGW has been very, very frugal and has done a great job extending the life of a lot of our infrastructure. So I commend our team for doing a great job of that.
So when you say they've done a good job of extending their life, is it like pretty much putting Band-Aids on a situation, but at some point you got to buy new stuff? Like, you know, I used my Thunderbird that I love to death. You know, I kept spending money on it and trying to repair it, but then at some point, Ford's no longer making parts for my car, and I got to replace it. Yeah,
so it's similar to that. I think that's a great analogy, and I also say, you know, for example, it's like a home or some place of business. At some point, wear and tear can't just be Band-Aided. You have to actually make an investment to make some upgrades. You have to eventually replace your air conditioning system. You can only put Freon in it for so long. At some point, you've got to get a new air conditioning system. That's the kind of thing that we're talking about, is that over time, you're going to have to replace certain pieces of equipment and certain infrastructure if we expect to have the type of reliability that I believe our customers want.
So should we get the proposed increases that we've made to the City Council, will customers, how long would it be before they can see a change in our service, a change in our infrastructure?
Well, part of our plan is that we would, if approved by the City Council, we'd like to within the first quarter of 2019, began some of these upgrades, even though rate effects that we've requested don't take effect until July of 2019. We'd actually like to, through a bond issue, if we could, get started a little bit earlier, because again, our infrastructure plan includes a combination of bond issues and rate actions. And if we can get the bond issue done early in the year, we would like to go ahead and start making some of the upgrades in the beginning of the year. We just keep in mind, we want everybody to remember it's a 5-year plan.
5 year,
so
yeah.
It's a plan that is designed. If we get 5 years out and look back, we expect to see outage minutes reduced by 50%.
Oh, great.
So I always remind customers that, you know, we're going to always have outages just because of the nature of what we do, but we're trying to make some significant steps. We're going to automate our electric system from about 5% to 85%, which means that it should shorten the length of time that customers are out. And many times, the switching will occur, so the customers will never know that there were issues. So
what kind of rate increase are we talking about over a 5-year period? Because I've watched the news, and I've seen different things out there, which I know is not what I've heard inside the company or actually presented to our board or the council. So over a 5-year period, on average, what kind of increase would our customers see?
Well, the action that our board took in approving our rate plan and budget over a 5-year period, customers on average should see about a 2% per year compounded annual growth rate for their cost. And so essentially, if you took all the gas, electric, and water costs for the average customer, and if you put into your budget about a 2% increase over a 5-year period, that's about what you would see. Now, of course, we're only asking for rate action to occur in July of 19 and also July of 21.
Okay.
Another important thing to remember is that we have asked the City Council and our board approve that in the event that we see greater financial performance than we anticipate in any given year, the following year we will provide a credit to our customers in recognition of that. And so that's to help offset maybe some of that increase. But it's, again, very, very important that we get started. And I always tell customers that to the extent that we don't get what we're asking, or that we delay, the reliability is not going to get better on its own. The Band-Aids that we're putting on our system will not improve our water production. So we're going to have to make some investments.
Okay, so when we start talking 2%, can you give us a dollar amount?
Sure.
An average for dollar amount? Some customers may better understand.
Yeah. So
dollars.
So if you think about it, the increase in 2019 that we've projected, on average, is a little less than $9 per month per customer. In 2021, it's about a $7 per month average, again, beginning in July of both of those years. So if you took those numbers and just looked at over the course of the year what an average bill is and what those increases are projected to be, and stretch it out over a 5-year horizon, that's how you can come up with the 2%. So you can take those numbers I just gave you and bake it into a monthly average bill, and then if you look at all those costs over a 5-year horizon, you'll see that there's about a 2% increase per year on average.
Okay, but if we don't get an increase, so basically, you know, many of our customers are concerned about the length of the outages that we're having, and if we don't get an increase, then we can't improve the time that we can restore services.
Right, but what I'll tell customers is we have folks that are very dedicated to working hard. They'll do their best, but I want to make sure we manage customer expectations so that they understand that we don't anticipate that they will get any better.
Okay.
And in fact, we project that reliability will get a little bit worse just because of the nature of our system. So I want everybody to understand it's not an easy thing to do. We've done things for years to help make things better. And we're going to continue to do everything we can to minimize the time that customers are out or that they have challenges with their system. But that's just kind of where we see it.
Okay. So we do want our customers to know that through the budget process that we've done all the belt tightening and efficiencies that we can do to make this proposed increase as small as possible.
Right, and that's the reason we also added the credit option that we're talking about, that we would credit customers back to the extent that our performance exceeds what we anticipated, because 5 years is a long time. So what we've said is, look, we'll take all the, if there's any downside risk, we own that. But if our performance exceeds what we expected, then the following year we will credit our customers that same amount. So, because we're looking for efficiencies all the time, so to the extent that we find efficiencies or we have revenue that comes in that exceeds our expectations in any given year, that's what we're trying to look to help and provide back to our customers.
Well, I mean, we don't have much time left, but there has been a proposal on the table where a company wants to come in and save Memphis Light, Gas, and Water customers $487 million. Is that possible?
Well, what I would say about that particular proposal is that we're continuing to look at that, and we're looking at other options as well. We have a study ongoing now that we look to have the results from in December. I would say that we have a lot of questions about the way that number was calculated, and at this point it's very, very difficult to guarantee any savings because of the nature in which that proposal was brought. The proposal that you spoke about doesn't, the unit that they brought to the table doesn't provide all the needs that we have. We would have to supplement the needs for energy with other sources, which they've included in their proposal. But again, the estimate that they provided on savings is something that we must take a much deeper look at.
Okay, so, well, we're coming to an end of the show today. And is there anything that you would like to share with our viewers, our customers, before we leave? Just
want to let you know we appreciate the privilege we have to serve you. And I think our customers, we're honored to be here to serve our customers. And actually, one of the things we've talked to all our employees about is that everyone's in the business of customer service. And we're going to be working very diligently over these next several months and years to make sure that we continue to improve the value that we provide to improve their customer experiences. So we appreciate the business, we appreciate the opportunity and the privilege to serve them.
Okay, thank you very much, President Young, for coming on and sharing information about our budget, for our proposed budget for 2019. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, here's a power moment to help you better understand how MLGW works to help you, our customer. Today's myth is we solely decide how our rates are determined for our customers, and that rates are applied and charged based on income. The fact is, MLGW charges for the utility services it provides just as any other entity that sells a commodity. Under our charter and state law, we are authorized to set rates for the services we sell based on the cost to provide that service. Also, regulation for the electric division ensures that customers within the same rate class are not funding one another, meaning customers within the same class must pay equitable or fair rates for services provided. Thank you very much for watching Power of Memphis.
You're watching the Library Channel, a broadcast service of the Memphis Public Libraries and the City of Memphis.